Hey guys, and welcome to Cheap Pop, your pro wrestling podcast on the Bleacher Preacher Podcast Network. As always, I'm the coach. I'm joined by Rob.
Hey, what up?
And John.
What's up, what's up?
And today we're going to talk Superstar Shakeup. So just some ground rules. I'm going to represent Raw in these trades, and Rob is going to represent SmackDown.
Finally.
And John is just going to provide commentary.
I'm just here for the action.
We gave John 205 Live.
Yeah.
So leave me alone. Let me do my own thing.
He's Drake Maverick.
Well, because, he is Drake Maverick.
I got incredible suits.
John can and will make the 205 weight limit. John could probably make the 155 weight limit if there was one.
Moving on.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. So this is going to take place on Raw and SmackDown next week before our greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So we're kind of not going to take the card into account because card is subject to change, and they don't want to tip off any changes yet. So right into it, my first proposed trade, I guess you're Paige then, right?
No, I'm Shane McMahon. I am the commissioner of Raw. I am not the Raw GM.
It said the general manager.
I am Shane McMahon.
Okay, Shane. My first proposal is we trade Asuka for Charlotte.
There's a proposal that I can get with. Charlotte just lost her title. We got a new title holder. Miss Money in the Bank is now Miss Champion. Carmella. Carmella is cash. Was it Mella is money? She's a girl that's going to be leading the division right now with the title. And we're bringing over Asuka. She lost the streak, but we can make a new one.
So I think the ultimate thing here is we are trying to set up Charlotte versus Ronda at next WrestleMania. And what a better way to do it than to bring her to Raw and have all these feuds, these potential feuds, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, just to name a few, just to build up into that Ronda Rousey match.
That is something that I would like to see. I don't know if they're going to bring up Shayna. I'm thinking about it, but Ronda bringing up Shayna for Survivor Series, there could be something like that happens. It might be a little bit too soon. This might be 2 Survivor Series down the road if they want to keep pushing it. We get the 4 horsewomen versus, the 4 horsewomen of MMA. That's something that maybe 2 WrestleManias from now, 2 Survivor Series from now, they push. But I do think the idea is Charlotte versus Ronda. I am upset, though. I know I'm supposed to be SmackDown GM / commissioner, Shane McMahon / Paige. I am upset about the booking that Asuka's streak was snapped for Charlotte, only for Charlotte to lose the championship the next day. It kind of takes away from Asuka's streak, do you think?
A little bit, but they had to get that Money in the Bank situation taken care of.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't see where she could or could not cash. Maybe she could have cashed on Raw, something maybe we could have worked on. I'm not too sure, but Asuka, I think it'll be fine getting her a little bit away from Raw, getting her with the iconic duo, which she had a fun little feud with on NXT. Asuka versus Bayley, or not Bayley, but Asuka versus Becky. Asuka versus Becky is going to be a great wrestling match. Excited to see that. The Riot Tit squads, they're still there. 3 T's, 4 T's, how many T's they got in there. They'll be looking to push those guys as probably the top heels, I want to say, on SmackDown.
So I think one thing that we kind of decided or came to a conclusion is SmackDown's really the worker show, and Raw is more of the gimmick show. So moving this just completely makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead and move on. Our next trade is the New Day for the club. The club including Finn Balor. What say you?
I think this is the shot in the arm that the Raw Tag Team division needs. We trade according to the booking, I guess, a lower tag team on Raw for the top possible team on SmackDown. Top merchandise sales, top everything. So absolutely, I want to see this happen.
So when we came to this conclusion, the thought was the New Day. They're going to be on the A show, Vince's pet show, because of the merchandise move. They've been on Raw before. Yes, they were your longest reigning tag team champions. With all that, and I think the New Day they deserve to be on Raw. I don't want to say deserve, that they're made for Raw. Their gimmick, their merchandise sales, the bootios, the pancakes, all that. I think that's made for Raw. Now, looking at back on the SmackDown side with the Club and Balor, I think the Club, they kind of maybe need a refresh. I want to say just a refresh. And by bringing in Finn Balor to add to the mid-title scene, to add to the upper card scene, we saw Finn versus AJ. Finn versus AJ with the Club potentially in the background for leadership of the Club, or Finn versus AJ versus Shinsuke triple threat. That's something that I'm excited to see.
You know, hopefully I hope they eventually get this whole chaos thing started. Like, I know we've been talking about it, and it's been a question mark, whatever. Let Shinsuke get a group together. AJ has to go to the Club for help, and then we see Club and Chaos again. But just on that, like, so some of the potential feuds for New Day on Raw, we're going to see Sheamus and Cesaro, AOP. I would say our next one, but I don't want to spoil it. But you know, we're just in a spot right now where Raw's tag team division is crap.
They need a refresh. We got to change faces, and let's use that to segment into our next one.
But don't forget, yes, it'll be wonderful.
Wonderful. No, Matt Hardy isn't moving with that segment. Matt Hardy is not moving that. No. So we got the revival, and we got the Fashion Police. That's our next trade. The Fashion Police. I love the Fashion Files. They just got moved to WWE.com. SmackDown's only a 2-hour show, so we moved the Fashion Police on to Raw. 3-hour show, a little bit more time.
You know, like we said before, it's work versus gimmick. And the Revival, you know, they had the injury problems, and which kind of limited their push. And now that they're back, they're afraid to give them anything because they might get hurt again. So Revival goes to SmackDown, gets their shot in the land of opportunity, and the Fashion Police get to come over, be another fun gimmick on Raw that is going to eventually just keep pushing the ratings for Raw, because that's why people watch Monday Night Raw. It's not just the wrestling, it's the story.
Definitely. Now, with the Revival on SmackDown, that's going to be one of your top guys. Revival. Top guys. Revival, Usos, Bludgeon Brothers, and now the Club.
Gable and Benjamin, too.
Gable and Benjamin in the Club. Those are 5 really good working tag teams. I like the tag team division with those 2 additions. Though they're gonna be some big money guys. Now, are we gonna get the promos? No, we're just gonna have the Bludgeon Brothers running around with hammers. You know, promos aren't the best. We still have the Usos, yes. Promos gonna need a little bit of work, but the action.
I tell you what, you know, we talk about some of the best matches ever, like, you know, Revival DIY. Like, can you imagine Revival Usos if they let them plan it out and put a prime product out there?
Just as long as they have enough time. They have enough time. They get a full 2-month, 3-month, whatever. So, you know, you can move the Usos down a little bit and try to have them build up the Revival. The Usos had a ton of time with the tag team championships. So you can feed a tag team to the Bludgeon Brothers while feeding, quote unquote, feeding the Usos to the Revival, and having the Rivals be those top guys against the Bludgeon Brothers and build that towards in the SummerSlam is what I can see happening. Now, yes, you're sacrificing the Usos, but their work speaks for themselves.
I think the quality of those matches would make up for that.
Even if they lose 2-3 times during the feud or whatever, the match quality, I think both of those teams can come out top. The Usos probably do a job.
Plus, I think the Shatter Machine is probably the best tag team move right now.
I like Last Chapter. Last Chapter just looks like it'll hurt.
I mean, Shatter Machine's like a code breaker flapjack. Like,
definitely. Can we get DIY?
No.
Can I make a power move for DIY? Hey, John. Oh, no. John's running 205 Live.
John hasn't said a word yet.
Well, you guys are just moving right along. I'm letting you conduct your business, you know, taking notes here. And when this is all said and done, I'll come back and chime in on seeing where I see each show going and who I'm seeing as a better product going forward.
Oh, okay. Okay, so my next trade, SmackDown went twice. I would like to trade you Seth Rollins and the Intercontinental Championship for Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers.
You have such a problem with Seth Rollins, you just want to get rid of him like that?
It's not getting rid of him. We are switching up the mid-card belts.
We are definitely switching up the mid-card belts. This is something I would love. Imagine this. Tuesday comes on air. Seth Rollins music hits. We hear the Burn It Down. He comes out with the fire pants, Well, actually, he doesn't come out with the fire pants. He comes out with the White Walker thing just because it's blue. SmackDown, blue. You see the symmetry there? He's going to come out. He's cutting a promo. Tuesday Night Rollins now. Debuts a new shirt. Tuesday Night Rollins. And then Balor comes out with him. Balor comes out. It's like, hey, Seth, you're not the only one here. We get a little, we get some promos in the ring, yeah.
So a lot of people are going to listen to this and say, Coach, what are you doing? You just got rid of two of your best workers with Finn and Seth. Agreed. I have my issues with Seth Rollins, but I've never doubted his in-ring ability. But what we're doing is we're flip-flopping this to let things breathe. The U.S. title picture has been so convoluted, and they don't know what they want to do with it. They got guys in wrong roles. They got rushed matches. Just trying to fit everybody in. Like, why was that a fatal four-way? Like, they threw Rusev in at the very end just to get the pop for Rusev Day.
Yeah, because,
we knew he wasn't winning.
Orton versus Jinder versus Robbie Roode sounded like a pre-show title match to me.
Bob
yeah.
Roode.
All right, so going on with my fantasy booking, Seth and Finn in the ring. AJ Styles music hits, comes down. He too sweets Finn, turns to Seth. This is the house that AJ Styles built. This isn't Tuesday Night Rollins. That's the first promo we get, and we get a Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, AJ Styles triple threat.
And the other part of this off. Too, Rob, is SmackDown needs a desperate shot in the arm. Their ratings were really high when it started because they had great writing, they had great storytelling, they used their time the best they could. As time went on, it got convoluted, it got messed up. They had segments in there where they shouldn't have. I mean, don't get me wrong, I just traded for the guy, but Jinder was world champion for 3 months.
That one was a big miss.
So, I mean, yeah, we're going to give these guys to SmackDown to bring their product up. So now we have 2 A shows and not a clear A and B. Because here's the thing. The TV contract is almost up. And NBC, Universal, and ESPN just signed a deal with UFC for $380 million that they'll cover UFC's Friday Night Fights, and they get the Fight app stuff on their app now. $160 million per guy, per organization. WWE's contract is coming up soon, and they've been in talks with Fox, and we could get a situation where Raw is going to be on Fox, but SmackDown is going to be on Fox Sports 1. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when SmackDown was on Sci-Fi or whatever, like I didn't watch it then. I didn't watch it on Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi, Spike, all those television,
I mean, UPN is OG. I was going to break that out.
Yeah.
But when it went to Sci-Fi, I didn't watch it because it was clearly the B show. So what they need to do is they need to make both these shows A shows, and why not do it by sending your best workers to SmackDown?
So from the beginning, when we were talking about with the gimmicks, the promos and whatnot, sending the New Day, sending, the Fashion Files, sending these guys out there, that's what we want. We want to have the 3-hour show not feel long. One of the biggest things about Raw is having those 3 hours, you kind of just like
the ratings
get tired.
The ratings always dip. The highest rating mark is hour 2. Hour 3 is where it peters off.
And then you see it in their they put it on the main event, and they'll put it on at the end of the second hour.
Right.
And then the third hour just kind of flies by you, and you're barely paying attention.
And there's only ever one match you want to see in the third hour.
Yeah, definitely. So if we're having all these promo guys on Raw, being able to take up time, giving them time on the mic, giving them time during promo packages, video packages, stuff like that, I think that's where it works on Raw.
And don't get us wrong, we're not saying that SmackDown guys aren't entertaining. I love AJ Styles. AJ Styles, top guy. It's just the club, amazing. Finn needs to stop smiling, but Finn, as well, can cut a very good promo. I mean, if you need evidence, go watch his stuff in New Japan as Prince Devitt.
I mean, Machine Gun Anderson, man, he is a great man on the mic. He's able to
And
to
hopefully,
show passion.
hopefully Machine Gun won't be on SmackDown to eat pins like he is on Raw.
Yeah, definitely. I hope they push the club a little bit. I hope I push the club. I'm pushing the club a little bit.
Come on, Shane, push the club. Okay, my next one, we are gonna move Big Cass for Baron Corbin. We're gonna give you Big Cass to revamp him. Get rid of all this Enzo Amore shadow that is haunting him right now. Let him start anew on SmackDown.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Just get him away, re-debuting. Not even repackaging. I don't think they'd repackage anything. He just debuts. He steamrolls. He looks good, and then he's on the show with Carmella, his real life girlfriend. So they should be happy together, and we should see the best out of Carmella. We should see the best out of Big Cass. He's somebody that can be built in the mid-card division, being built up, and then move on and move up into the main event scene. Somebody that, a timeline that we thought not Big Cass, but Baron Corbin was going to do on SmackDown.
Hey.
Baron Corbin, he just hasn't done it on SmackDown.
That's my spot.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like a refresh for both. So Baron Corbin on Raw. A lot of people out there, he could work with Sheamus. He could work with Cesaro. He can have both good matches with both of them. He could work with some guys like Samoa Joe. That'll be a big hitting match. Baron Corbin has improved in the ring over this year. I want to say he's looked good. There was sometimes
there's
the
some
Fastlane,
spots. There's some spots that I can't get over, like when he does the
running
baseball slide
baseball
around
slide
the corner, and I don't like that one. But his deep six and end of days are amazing. I love deep six especially. When the right guy takes it, it looks amazing.
Yeah, when he has a small guy that he's able to pick up and he's able to spin around up there, that looks good. Now, the point I'm trying to make is what we're doing is we just need fresh starts. Guys that we think are stale. Now, I know we're not throwing out big names out there, but we're trying to refresh the guys. We're trying to get these guys, in better places, and I think this trade works out for both of us. So let's go ahead and let's move into our last trade. This is probably our biggest trade.
Most people.
A lot of the fans are gonna like both of them. They're the fans of both of them. So we're taking the Miz, Taraj, and we're throwing in Maurice as well from Raw, going to SmackDown for Rusev Day. Lana, Rusev, and Aiden English.
Rusev Day. Now, I know some people will listen to this and say, well, Coach, there's rumors that Rusev's asked for his release, and there's rumors that he's trying to get out of there. We're going to ignore those and just call them purely speculation right now and let Rusev come to Raw and flourish. People chant for that Rusev Day no matter what. No matter what show he's on. It's on both shows. I mean, it's at Ring of Honor. Like, they're chanting Rusev Day at Ring of Honor. Like, what are we doing?
We had John Cena cut a promo. He's like, WrestleMania just happens to be on Rusev Day, on cue. Whole crowd chanting Rusev Day. The man's entertaining, and he's great. Now, imagine Aiden English versus Elias. Aiden English versus Elias with Rusev. That could be the opening feud where Aiden...
Can you imagine Rusev versus Braun Strowman?
That would be hilarious.
Amazing.
Complete hilarious.
Amazing. It would be so funny. Like, my eyes wouldn't leave the TV.
Rusev versus Bobby Lashley is Lashley's first feud there as well. And I know Rusev might eat the pin on that one because you want to build Bobby Lashley. But, I mean, that's an entertaining match.
I want to see him win off an Accolade. But we haven't seen that in a very long time.
I want to see him put, like, 4 dudes in the Accolade.
The Stackolade.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that, but,
Okay, so we just did 6 trades. I think the most we're going to see is 7.
7 or 8.
So let's talk about some ones we want to see. And the first one I'm going to propose is Bobby Roode coming to Raw somehow.
We don't know. We were trying to rack our brains onto how we can get Roode and some of these guys that we're going to talk about on different shows. Because I think Roode needs to re-debut, repackage as a heel. We've all said it. Everybody said it. You know, a lot of people, fans on the internet, Reddit, Smarks, whoever. Roode just works better as a heel.
Rude is so much better as a heel. If you go back to NXT and just watch the swagger he had when he had the NXT championship and talking about changing NXT and changing, this is his NXT now. Please, heed our call, WWE. Make Bobby Roode a heel.
We're still gonna chant and sing along to his theme song, even if he's a heel or not. The theme song's a banger.
Plus, it looks really painful when he smiles.
It looks forced.
Like it hurts him. It hurts him. What's your next one, Rob?
So next guy is a guy that debuted from NXT to SmackDown pretty much about a year ago. 365 days, 370 days, around that time, and he's just really done nothing. There was a feud with Dolph Ziggler, I believe, on SmackDown. The guy I'm talking about is Ty Dillinger, the perfect 10.
There's no time for him on SmackDown is the problem.
He might have 10 total appearances on SmackDown.
10.
Like, we need to get...
I'm sorry. The funniest thing is was it? Who was it? Was it
our good friend of the show,
Elijah. We're watching the Royal Rumble, and we have a big WrestleMania or wrestling text
Group
message,
text.
and he goes, "Okay, I've suspended my disbelief enough. I cannot believe that Ty Dillinger somehow gets number 10 2 years in a row."
And then
When you're the perfect 10.
a couple of weeks after that, he was on the SmackDown top 10 list.
at
Guess
number
who
10.
came in at number 10? Ty Dillinger.
So, I agree. He needs to get to Raw somehow. But again, just like the Bobby Roode situation, we didn't know who to move.
Definitely. Now there's a guy I want to bring up. We don't have on our list here. It's Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is still on the shelf. From what me and the coach think, he's gonna be back at Greatest Royal Rumble. They gotta fill 50 spots, so he's probably gonna be one of those spots. We don't know how healthy he is. He hasn't really been put in any tests or anything. That's somebody that could be moved for a Rude or a Ty. That's somebody that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's a you're looking mid-card caliber trade, and Bobby Roode definitely fits that mold. The next one I'm going to propose is not anybody specific, but there definitely needs to be another women's move somewhere.
Yeah, we didn't think there was going to just be the one move of Asuka versus Charlotte. Asuka versus Charlotte, that was WrestleMania. Asuka for Charlotte. That was the move that we had, our first move to kick off the pod. But we just couldn't come up with two names on either side to make the move.
Now we kind of we threw around Alexa Bliss maybe moving back to SmackDown, but it leaves a heel hole on Raw. There's no way that Ember Moon or the Iconic Duo is going to move.
After just debuting.
I mean, we did Maurice for Lana, but that's really just wifey for wifey.
Yeah, that doesn't really move. So we were thinking about Mickie James maybe, but there was no reason to turn Mickie James heel and then move her over to SmackDown to just be a heel by herself. She only works as a heel when she's with Alexa Bliss.
One we kind of talked about was moving Ruby Riott to Raw, but Robbie, you were saying you don't think it's time to break up the Riott Squad.
I don't, because I don't think the other two are ready. I think Ruby Riott's ready. I think Ruby Riott could flourish as a singles competitor, definitely. But if Ruby Riott leaves from SmackDown to Raw and Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan, they're alone together on Raw or on SmackDown if they stay together or they split up. I don't think they stay together because you already have a duo there. And then if they split up, I don't think either one of them are ready wrestling-wise or promo-wise to flourish. I see them failing as singles.
And then talking about female groups, potential to move either Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville really to hide her, but Mandy Rose has such a great personality, but she's very green.
Mandy Rose is very, very green. She's, off the top of my head, wrestling moves that you've seen Mandy Rose do. I think it was like
hip toss.
The hip toss. There was a knee.
I think she did a Lou Thesz press.
Yeah, there was the Christopher Daniels old move. What was it? The double underarmed face breaker, sit out face breaker.
Yeah, face buster thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the last elephant in the room is just to address Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They're on Raw.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. My one spot is to have them. I know you're copying the Dusty Road Classic, but Vince has copied NXT a whole bunch of times on Raw. It's happened before.
Constantly.
Yeah, so we can see Sammy and Kevin interfering in the Revival versus Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt finals of the Tag Team Eliminator, not the Tag Team Tournament. I don't know why they call it Eliminator. I guess so. Oh well. But and then having a 4-way, those two teams plus Sammy and Kevin plus Sheamus and Cesaro at the Greatest Royal Rumble. That'll be something that it can be fun. All 4 guys can work. It'll look great.
Okay, John, you've been quiet all pod.
Time for these grades.
Great.
So, just going from the top, you guys are revamping the show to not only be better for the casual fan, but for the hardcore fan as well. You want to give not only a better product on not just Mondays, but Tuesdays as well. You want balance. You want it, yes, you'll have your entertainers show, but you also have your workers show. I think both of you guys did a great job of keeping the star power balanced out. Like, you still want people to tune in to see a Braun on Monday night, and then keeping AJ on Tuesdays because, that's his house. AJ Styles is the house that's SmackDown is the house.
Is
the house that AJ Styles built. I was going to get through it eventually, but to be honest, I really like what both of you guys are doing here. It's the refresh, I think, is the biggest thing to take from this because...
Okay, Switzerland.
I'm not done yet. Not done yet.
John, the Swiss cyborg.
So I like with this refresh concept you guys are going with because, let's be honest, a lot of talent has become stale over the past couple months. Storylines have been kind of dead ends, and ultimately a lot of guys have been misused, i.e. your Rusevs. So when I am having to choose between wanting to watch one of the two shows, I'm going to still have to tune into Raw before I go to SmackDown. Not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just I like the lineup coach is giving me and how he hasn't lined up going forward as well. It's not just a short-term move, but it's looking ahead to your next Mania and beyond as well. And mind you, we still haven't even been able to factor in call-ups and how that's going to look down the line here as well.
Okay, segue much. Will we see any call-ups in this?
So there's Sanity.
Because SmackDown did not get any male talent.
There's Drew McIntyre. There's Andrade Cien Almas. If I would to just hand choose 3 acts, 3 talents to come up, those would be my 3 picks. Now, I don't know if SmackDown's going to get all 3 of those guys. I think Drew McIntyre, you might be a lock. They got a lot of big guys, a lot of monster guys on Raw right now. You got Braun, you got Brock, you got Bobby Lashley, you got Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns. There's a lot of big guys. I think Drew McIntyre can fit in there, but I want to see Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. Same thing with Andrade. If Andrade comes up and he's lost in the mid shuffle that is Raw, I'm a little hurt, a little confused there.
So not spoiling anything, but 2 of those names are mentioned on the recent NXT list of tapings, but Sanity is not one of them. So hopefully we get that. I mean, I've been fighting for Sanity to come up for quite some time now, and the feud with the New Day. But if what we're proposing happens, that wouldn't happen. I think Sanity goes to SmackDown.
Yeah, definitely. I know they're revamping the Raw tag team division. The only way I see Sanity moving up onto Raw is if a tag team like Sheamus and Cesaro also move over to SmackDown. Sheamus and Cesaro can work on SmackDown, like we said, worker show. Sheamus and Cesaro versus AJ versus Finn versus Seth. I know we've seen all that before. Versus Daniel Bryan even, versus Shinsuke. It can work. It can be more heels on the SmackDown side, because I think SmackDown's missing kind of the top heels. And the top heel right now is arguably Shinsuke.
Yeah, well, and that was forced.
Yeah, and that was like 3 days ago that he turned heel pretty much. So, like, I don't know what they do with the NXT guys. I don't know if it's over, if that's it, or if they move on. But we've spoiler alert, there's an NXT taping list that's out there in the web for you to see. You can see all the matches and whatnot. Some of those top guys are still there, so I think there's only maybe one move left, and that's Sanity That's what we're hoping, and they'll be great on the main roster.
So I think we'll close out on that thought. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Bleach Preach Pod. We're on Instagram, Bleacher Preacher Podcast. We also have Patreon, patreon.com/Bleacher Preacher Podcast. John, go ahead and plug your stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at Jonathan_R.
I mean, even though you only said like 6 words on the podcast.
Just in case someone had a problem with those 6 words, they know where to find me.
Okay. Rob?
Rob_BPP. You can also find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, anywhere you get your podcast needs. We're there. Come holler at us. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Find us, support us, debate us. We're there.
And as always, I'm the coach, and we will talk to you guys later.